Yeah, I went back to work on. I worked on 2 wards at Westwood, as well, it was a ward sister or something. I think it was called, and the first ward was a ward for older people with some physical needs, and then I got moved to the ward where I'd originally done my volunteer work in 1976, which was classed as the children's ward, even though at that time children, it was deemed that children should no longer be admitted to hospitals, and it was a government incentive that local authorities should develop their own children's services. So therefore children weren't admitted. But when I moved to that ward, the youngest girl was 14, and she'd been there a long time. So it was still classed as the children's ward, even though the oldest was in the probably in the late 20s at that point. So it was a younger group of people, but there were about 27 people lived on that ward, and we still at times had to take people for respite because the community nurses that worked in Bradford, I think that team was set up in about 1984. Families needed a break and there wasn't the services for people to have respite. So some of the people, because of the nature of the maybe difficult behaviour or the complex health needs, still came to that ward for respite. Maybe came for a weekend or came for a week. It depended. But that at the time on that ward there was a female side and a male side, and there were just big dormitories full of beds, all low beds, which I think now we did all the lifting was a physical lift. We didn't have any equipment, so people had to be lifted out of the bed into a wheelchair through to the bathroom. And at that point the building had been modernised, so we had high-low baths, which were a revelation. We'd never had anything like that before, and then there was a special assisted shower and special assisted toilets, which were unknown, and in the ward area we'd try to divide it as we could. It was one long room, but we divided it in 2 into a dining area, into like a lounge area. So people moved from a lounge area to a dining area for the meals, because when we first went on the ward, everybody was fed wherever they were. The people didn't move. They were put in that place in the morning, and they were fed the dinner. They fed the breakfast, the dinner and the tea. So we tried to establish it into a separate lounge area, and that was the job of me and the other sister that was on the ward at the time, was to get things moving and get things modernised. And at that point then we asked for and got a washing machine and a dryer, and we gave the staff the money and said, go out and buy clothing out in the big shops in Bradford and buy appropriate clothing for the people who were living on the ward, because people had had a lot of spasticity, and the clothes that were supplied by the laundry room weren't suitable. So the staff went out and bought tracksuits and things that were more easy for people to wear, more comfortable for people to wear, and we washed all the clothes on the ward. And that was a big thing, because some of the staff were like, but this isn't our job, we shouldn't do this. But we knew if we sent the nice clothing to the laundry room, they probably would have got spoilt. So we did all the washing on the ward and all the drying, which was amazing. For staff were shocked that they were expected to do this as well, because it was another task for people to do.
And so you say how there was several new tasks with the modernisation and also clothes. How did all the staff take to these new experiences and these new tasks and job roles?
Some of the staff embraced it and were so happy and so pleased to be able to be given some lead, because a lot of people had been there for a long time and they wanted things to change and they wanted things to be better for people. So they embraced it, and the goodwill was amazing. People would go out in their own time and do the shopping. They would come in on the days off and they'd say, I've been out, I've seen this, I've bought this for so-and-so, because we set up the key worker system, so everybody had a responsible person. They made sure they had all the toiletries, made sure they had the clothing were right, made sure, and people got very precious about looking after people's things, because before they used to share all the toiletries. The toiletries were all put in the bathrooms. We were set the task of making sure that everybody had their own toilet bags, their own toiletries, their own toothbrushes, their own everything, so that when in the morning you went to get somebody up and washed and dressed, is that you took their stuff with you to the bathroom. And that was new, because, you know, we used to have toiletries delivered for everybody, so they're all just to be in the bathroom and everybody used to share the same. So most of the staff, I have to say, embraced it and were really pleased to be able to do things, and were excited, and they'd come up with new ideas about, I think so-and-so will like this, can we take so-and-so to can we do this, can we take this person? So for most, I mean, obviously some staff were a bit resistant because the job became bigger. You know, it wasn't just about, like, I mean, it was already hard as it was. 3 people looking after 27 people with physical disabilities. Every person was bathed every single morning. Nobody had any pressure sores. Nobody had any skin problems. You know, people were looked after really well. It was just that it was so many people and so few staff.